So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I thought we were going to work on pockets this week on her cardigan. Yes, I had said that, but I wanted you to see the new witch's hat that I created. Here, let me go this way so you can see all the way around. And I was thinking, since we made witch's hats last week, this week we could talk a little bit about how to embellish and decorate them. So let me put my glasses on, and I'll take this off. Hopefully my hair's not too crazy. And specifically, I thought I would show you how to make, this is actually a pin. There you go. You see that? And it's made from rickrack. And it's added, I just added it to the hat. But the nice thing is it can be removed and, you can wear it on other things. So I thought we would go over how to do some decorating, just some general ideas, how to make some little crafts to just make your witch's hat even more special. So we talked about that hat, and the patches also make it really cute and very, again, unique and special. Then there was this hat. I'm sure you remember this. There we go. And all we had done was add some crochet lace to it. This is a pin that I added to it, which can be taken off and worn with other things. And then of course we have the pretty patches that coordinate. And then of course we also have the original black one that I made. This one, just a little bit dressier. There we go. Like I said, these are just picks that I got from the Dollar Tree. And all I did was I took ribbon and wrapped them together. We're also going to show you, I'm going to show you how to do this today too. This is just a little felt flower I made. It is also a pin. It's pinned right to this. So it can be worn separately as well. And on this one, we decided to also add the tulle. And the tulle, this is actually all sewn onto the tulle. But you don't actually have to do that. You could just make this whole thing a pin and then pin it onto the hat. So those are just some things that I thought we would talk about today, and just, help do some brainstorming for you guys so that, when you make your witch's hat, you have some ideas. So let's put these back here. I have an order for a hat, so I will use this to show you how to make the little rosette pins. Okay, so let me get my hot glue gun and a few things together, and we'll get started. So let me show you a few things that I've collected together just to kind of give you some inspiration. You may have some of the stuff laying around the house, so you may need to make a quick run to your local craft store, who knows. One thing you're going to need for sure is a hot glue gun, a low temperature one because you don't want to be burning your fingers. You're going to need some extra glue sticks. And the other thing I came across, I forgot I had these. I've had a bunch of these for years, and I don't use them very often. I think they still make them. These are glue sticks, glitter glue sticks. So you can actually use these too if you want to, like, maybe decorate around the trim, or if you want to put like an embroidery, monogram or something on them, and you want to do it in glitter. These are always fun. So something to keep your eye open for. I need to see if they still make these. I honestly, I swear, I think I've had these for like 20 some years, but they're still good. So if you want to make the pin, I'm going to show you how to make two different kinds of pins. We're going to make one with rickrack, so like a brooch that you can put on the hat or wear on the lapel. We're going to make one with rickrack, and we're going to use one using the round piece of felt that you end up with when you cut the hat out, when you cut out the brim, because it's on the fold. This is what you end up with. So as opposed to throwing in the trash, we're going to make a little rose, like a rosette kind of brooch that you could wear on the hat, or you could wear on, a sweater or your dress or whatever. So the one thing that you'll need, and I got these on Amazon, I'll try to put the link below. These pins, I like these pins. They seem to be very sturdy. Here we go. I know, very shiny. So there we go. There's the back. They're very easy to use, and this gives a nice big area, which I think is very helpful when you're doing these kinds of like brooches, you know, with the larger like, you know, flowers and stuff. So yeah, these are, like I said, from Amazon. Everything that I can find a link to, I will put in the description below just to make things easier for you. But like I said, you may have some stuff laying around the house that you can use or improvise with. Always do that first if you can. Then you could do things like crystals. I mean, this, I think this, I'd have a hard time finding a link for this, but these are from the Dollar Tree. And you could take the whole thing off if you want. Now, I would recommend hot gluing these onto the hat and not just using the sticky stuff that is on the back of them. But you can use them as individuals, like the, you know, oops, there we go. You can use them as individuals like this, or you could use the whole circle. It's really just a matter of what you prefer. You can buy individual crystals. I have jars of rhinestones, so you can add rhinestones to it on the brim, on the point, wherever you want. I made these little flowers. These are pins as well, as you can see. There we go. This is an example of a small rickrack rosette, and I just took some felt and added a little leaf. Here's a pink one that I did. I did on both of these. I had some embroidery thread laying around, so I just did a little stitch down the center of the leaf. You could make these in different colors and put them on the brim of the hat if you want, like that. We are going to, like I said, we're going to make a big one, like the gold one that I originally showed you. The other thing that could be fun, now maybe not in white, but if you had black or purple or neon green, pom-poms are always fun. So you could add these either by sewing or hot gluing little pom-poms around the edge. I think that would be adorable, especially if it was on a little kids. So pom-poms are fun, always a fun idea. Oh, look, you could do pink pom-poms. So those are some fun ideas. Then any kind of like ribbon that you have or tool. So like I used the black tulle on a spool on the black hat, but you don't have to stick with black. They also make tulle on a spool in different colors with glitter. Isn't that pretty? Can you see the glitter dots? There we go. This is actually left over from my wedding many years ago, but you could actually add that to any color of hat that you want. And it comes in a multitude of colors. And it does come in different colors with and without glitter. So if you're not a fan of glitter, which I totally understand, you don't have to have glitter. What else do we have over here? Then there's rickrack that, you know, we can make pins out of, but you can also add this to around the brim if you want. Any sort of lace trim, satin ribbon, all of it would be so pretty. You could do layers, do like a thick layer of ribbon, then do one that's smaller, and then one that's smaller, or maybe put the rickrack around it. Again, use your imagination and have fun with it. I have pink rickrack out because I am going to be making a pink rickrack pin because I'm going to make myself a witch's hat. It's going to be in this charcoal gray. It's going to be gray and pink. And, you know, it's been a Barbie year. So we're going to do a pink witch's hat because supposedly pink is the color for this year for Halloween. Other ideas, patches of fabric. If you save fabric scraps, you know, I always have patches laying around because normally I'm having to patch my husband's jeans and the knees or whatever. And sometimes they just can't be patched. And I still end up with a lot of like denim patches, which is another reason I chose to, I had all of these denim jeans. I just washed them and cut them up. And that's how I made the hat. It was that plus, let me see if I can get this off here. Here we go. This beautiful brocade material, which I just cut up into patches. So you can add patches. You could make a band for around your hat with brocade or denim. It just depends on the look that you are going for. It's always a great idea if you can use denim. And I'll tell you why real quick. I bought this book. I love this. I'll go through this with you sometime. The refashion wardrobe. And it's all about making a capsule wardrobe by upcycling items, which is fabulous. So one thing I'm really attracted to are these jeans. And those are made from a pair of like men's really big Levi's jeans. And I'm like, those are so cool. I'm like, I'd love to do that. But when it gives the introduction, it talks about how hard denim, having denim in the, is for the environment. I had no idea about this, but apparently it would take us 10 years to drink the 10,000 liters, or approximately 2,200 gallons of water required to make just one pair of jeans. That's a lot of water. And not to mention, it lasts a really long time. It takes denim a long time to break down, and it ends up in landfills. So if you can always find something to do with denim, I say go for it. Make a denim one. It was so much fun. I just laid it all out and then put those pattern pieces on it that we talked about last week. And you saw how cute it turned out. And I love it. It's too small for my head, which is very sad. But I might make one bigger to fit me. So we shall see. What else? Oh, here's another idea. I was flipping through social media and saw a young lady she was dressing up for, showing what she was going to wear for Halloween. And she put on her witch's hat. And she had ties. So like they were about this big. Only hers were satin, not Georgette. So they were sewn on the inside of the hat. So when she pulled it down, she tied this cute little bow underneath her chin. It was really charming. So any kind of fun ribbon. Again, these could go around the brim. You could use them to make ties. It will also help hold your hat on. Make some and stick them off the top of the hat. Whatever you want to do. So let me get myself organized a little bit better. There we go. And we will start by, I would tell you what we'll do. We'll start with making the little felt rosette. It's very, very easy to make. You're going to need a hot glue gun. You're going to need your round that you have left over from where you cut out the brim of your hat. You're also going to need needle and thread. I do recommend a very thick needle and some decently thick thread, because the felt I have is I forget what percentage, but it also has wool. It's not just acrylic. So I do recommend thick thread and a strong needle. So go get those and meet me back here. Okay, so here is everything we're going to need to make the little black rosette. So here is my felt circle that I had left over from where I cut out my hat. I have this is more of like an embroidery type sewing needle. It's very thick, very strong, and very thick thread. And it's already waxed, which is really great. I love when I can find that. I have my little back, my little back for my pin, pair of thread scissors, and of course the hot glue gun. So first things first, you don't need a lot of thread. I think I'm going to do about, probably do 16 inches worth of thread. And I'll show you why you really aren't going to be doing much sewing. It's a lot more wrapping and tying of a knot. So there we go. Let's get this in here. And I'm just going to pull both ends down and tie a knot at the bottom. Now, there we go. Because my thread is so thick, I only need to knot it once, one slip knot. So there we are. Okay. Now, this is the part that sometimes seems tricky, but it's really not. Hold your circle in one hand. Take your finger and poke it right in the center. Then just pinch that part. Now all you have to do, see, I'm just kind of folding it in. And you just kind of play around with it until you like some of the waves that you're getting. Like, I like that. I think that's pretty good. So I'm just going to hold it really tight on the bottom with one hand while I grab my needle and thread. So you might, there we go. You might need a thimble for this. So put your needle through once and pull until you hit that knot and it stops it. Now start wrapping. There we go. Your thread around as tightly as you can. Be careful not to pull so hard that you snap it. Okay? Now, once you've got that, hold it in place, and you're going to do just a simple little slip knot. Actually, I want to put a stitch in, and then go back through and do a slip knot. Just like that. That's all the sewing that you really need to do on this. So then we're going to snip off. There we go. Our extra thread. Throw in the trash can. All right. So now we are now done with our sewing needles and our thread. So you're left with something that kind of looks like this, or very similar to it. So the first thing I do is I kind of look at it and decide how am I going to, where am I going to start hot gluing? So I usually start in the middle. So I'm just going to pinch these two together. Make sure my glue is hot. It should be by now. Yeah, no problem. Okay. So put a little glue and then pinch that together. Okay. And I think I'm going to do this one next. And pinch this side together. Don't worry about the little spider webbies. You can pull those off at the end. And I think I need to do either side like that. Okay, let's do this one. I said it's really just a matter of what you happen to like. You just play around with it. Just make sure you like where it is before you hot glue it together. There we go. See, we have a simple, very simple little rosette. Oop, I need to pinch that together a little longer. It's starting to come apart. Let me hold these in place a little bit. There we go, while we talk. So the next thing we're going to do, you can see there's like a little nub on the bottom from where we sewed it together. So we're going to end up cutting across that to make it flat, because that little bob at the bottom is not going to be it would not be helpful while we are attempting to sew. Now, depending on how thick your fabric is, I would not be able to cut through this felt with these little scissors, so I'm going to grab my regular dress shears, because these are sharp enough. I think I can get through. Okay, so again, you can see there's like a little, yeah, a little nub right there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, now you don't want to cut the stitches. Be really careful that you do not cut down where the stitches are, but you want to cut as close as you can. And this comes flying off the bottom, so throw that in the trash. There we go. Okay, now this is the part where you want to be careful not to burn yourself, because this is metal. So I'm holding on to the little pin part, although I have burnt myself doing this because the hot glue is quite hot. So just try to minimize your burn. You might want to hold it on the sides like this. Just try to keep your fingers out of the way. So load this up with hot glue. I like to go all the way around, plus some in the center. See, this thing's already starting to get warm. So I want to do this quickly. Make sure I get my fur off the bottom. Okay, here we go. So take that little flat part that you just created, that you cut, and this, and press like that. Lay it down on the table as quickly as you can. It's good to have, like, this is just wax paper that I pulled from the kitchen. You need that, cardboard, paper, parchment, whatever you have, just cover your surface. And you're just going to press down until it sticks. That's the other thing, is afterwards you can always look at it and go, I need to trim this part, or I need to trim this part because it looks too pointy. There we go. So I just trimmed off just a little bit. See, and this is starting to pull apart. I didn't hold it long enough, so I'm just going to add a little bit more glue, and I'm going to pinch it closed. You can make these with any kind of fabric. Last year I made some with polar fleece to put on berets, fleece berets that I made. Yeah, you can make them out of any kind of material that you want. This fleece, this particular wool felt is just very easy to work with. So there we go. You have a little black rosette that you can add to your hat. So next, let's work on our rickrack flower. Okay, so here are all the items that you need to make a rickrack rosette. We're going to make a large one. Remember the small ones? Like they made these into rings. Aren't they cute? See? I love the gold one. There we go. Very glittery. But yeah, this is actually made from gold rickrack. So, but we're going to make a large one. This is small, but we're going to make one that is at least twice that size. So you're going to need some rickrack. You can use any size rickrack you want. This is medium. Jumbo works really well. For instance, this pin is jumbo rickrack. Actually, so is the gold ring. That is also made with jumbo rickrack. So you're going to need rickrack in whatever color you want. You're going to need, optionally, you'll need needle and thread and a sewing needle. And I'll show you why that's optional in a minute. It's a great idea to have a lighter or a candle or something that has some flame. You're going to need your pin back like we used earlier. Thread scissors are always good. And of course, these scissors are, you know, my dress shears are always an option too for cutting this. And you're going to need your hot glue gun. Please make sure you have your surface covered. Again, I don't want to get any of it on my sewing mat. So let me move this stuff out of the way and we will get started on measuring out our rickrack. Okay, so take your rickrack and I'm going to measure off. You can measure off between, let's see, let's do 16 inches. Actually, I think I want a little longer. Let's go out to 20. Okay, we're going to do 20 inches. And then what you're going to do is fold it at the 20-inch mark and measure it off. So ultimately, you're going to end up with 40 inches of rickrack. And then you're going to cut it. So, all right, so we have 40 inches of rickrack to make our rose. Now the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our lighter or use your candle very carefully without burning yourself or catching anything on fire. You're just going to hold it up gently towards the heat of the flame so that this melts just a little bit. Actually, you shouldn't do what I just did. Don't touch it. It's hot. There we go. Because that really finishes the end and it will stop fraying. You're going to do that on both sides. Okay. So now we are done with that. All right. Next thing you're going to do is, there we go, measure it up. That's the halfway mark. Make sure you have it halfway. Oops, I was wrong. There, that's halfway. Okay, that's halfway. Okay, so now the first thing you're going to do, because you know how it waves like this, you're going to, there we go, you're going to fold it together like this. You actually end up wrapping it around. So you create the little folds like this. You see how that works? And then we're going to do it again. And we're going to do that all the way You're going to do it all the way down. Now let me show you something, because after a while it's going to try to start twisting on you, and that's really annoying. So you can do one of two things. You can use gem clips, you know, the sewing ones or office supplies, or you can take, I have a little straight pin so you can see. You know what, let me grab the yellow ones. They're easier to see. There we go. All right. And every so often, there we go. Once you get a section together, once it starts turning, just pin it and hold it straight like that. Okay? So now, again, you're just going to, whoops, you have to sometimes, you know, pull it apart because it gets tangled. See, it's tangled again. There we go. So just pull it over like this. And you're going to do this again all the way down so that it ends up looking like this from top to bottom. So go do that and then meet me back here. And then we'll go on to step 2. Okay, so as you can see, even with pinning, after a while, it does get really twisted up on you, but that's okay. So the first thing we're going to do, now this is the end, this is the very bottom. You're going to want to glue that together. So I'm going to pull that open and I'm going to grab my hot glue gun and let's put up just a little dab of glue and fold it over and hold it just for a second. We're actually going to start on this end of rolling it in. So you have to kind of like press it out flat a little bit. This can be a little fiddly, but it's not bad. As you can see, I have developed some frayage because I did not. There we go. Burn it. So you might want to check if you have some little puffs, go ahead and apply a little heat so you have a nice end. Now, you can start on either side. Both sides are exactly the same, okay? So first thing you're going to do, you're just going to roll this in like so a couple of times, okay? Just to make sure that you like the way that it's going to look. Okay, so now take your hot glue gun, put a little bit of glue on the inside like that, and then just roll it in. So there's sort of like a little rose bud, if you will. Now you're not going to have to glue the entire way. You know, I roll for a little bit, then I press out a flat section like so, and then I'll put some hot glue. Then I'll roll it up a little, roll that part up. And I just kind of keep an eye on the way, how it's looking. Make sure that I'm pleased with it. I like the way this is coming together. Rolling it together really isn't that hard. There we go. Okay, it's getting to a part now where I should probably glue some more. So I'm going to just lay this out flat. Actually, I'll do it this way so you can see it. So we're going to lay it out flat like this. And grab my hot glue gun. There we go. Oops, I just dropped it on the floor. I'll have to pick it up. Okay. There we go. And I hold it down just a little bit. So you can see how it's starting to take shape. Okay, let me grab my hot glue gun. Okay. Now this one's not going to be as big as the one that is on my denim witch hat, but that's okay. Okay. And then the main reason for that is because I am using medium rickrack and not the jumbo. So this will kind of give you a good idea of just how big it is using the different sizes. There we go. And oops, let me move those pins before I stick myself and start bleeding. I'm always good at that. Okay. Here we go. Let's put a little bit more hot glue. There we go. And lay it out. And we'll do more hot glue here. Now the reason I'm not making this one as big is I'm going to use this as a center of a flower and not just the whole flower this time. But you will see that this is definitely bigger. Put this on my paper so I don't, but it's definitely bigger than the size I showed you with the ring. Now once you get it all together, you want to glue that last section together, obviously. This is the end that's folded. So you may need to stick a little glue inside the folded end and just press it down. And so then you have a little rickrack rose. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, why do you need thread? Well, that depends on how much hot glue you have, or if you don't have hot glue and you're using another kind of glue. Because what you can do at this point, if you don't, or if you feel like any of this is too loose and you can't go back, you feel like it's unstable, turn it on the side that you're going to glue onto the pin, okay? And what you're going to do is just do little hand stitches and little knots on the pieces that you feel need secured. Or like I said, if you're using glue that doesn't dry as quickly, if you put in just a few stitches, that will hold it together while it continues to dry. Now, the next thing you're going to do, I am not going to do this part. I'm not going to do the sewing because I use quite a bit of glue on this one and it's really staying together nicely. So let's take a look at the size difference. Now this is jumbo rickrack, but I didn't use nearly as much as I did, whoops, with the medium rickrack. So you can kind of see the different sizes, okay? And let me grab the gold one, and that way you can kind of see the size difference on that. Let me grab it off of the hat real quick. There we go. This used, I want to say, well, you'll get an idea. This is jumbo rickrack. There we go. This I probably used about a half a pack, maybe a little bit more. So now the next thing we're going to do, because you can see how like the little petals are kind of opened on this, there are different ways to achieve that effect. So let me show you different ways that you can do that. Now you can simply start by just using your fingers, as you see, and pressing them open like so. And they do kind of stay. If you have one of these, or if you have a pair of tweezers, this came with my my serger. It's great just to grab the top of the petal, and sometimes it's easier. I know I feel like I have little fingers, but sometimes I just fumble too much. And all I'm doing is I'm kind of pressing them open. You can also kind of glue, like if you put a little dab of glue, like I'm going to do this one right here. Let me show you. I'm going to put a little dab of glue between the petal, and then I'm going to press it open like so, and just hold it in place while it dries. And so therefore it'll stay nice and open. And we'll do that wherever I feel like I need to. These are really opening up nicely, which I'm very pleased with. So I really like the way this looks so far. Now I may eventually go back and like glue some of these open. I don't know. It just depends on how they settle. Now the last thing you're going to do when you are happy with your rose, turn it over so you know which side you're going to do. Get your little pin back, and you're going to again go all the way around the outside. Be careful not to burn yourself. Get plenty of hot glue in the center portion. Make sure you have the correct end, and then just press it on. There we go. Now I'm actually going to pin this to something bigger on my hat. So this will end up being like the center portion of a flower. There we go. Isn't that pretty? And it's very, very simple, very easy to make. So today we've learned how to do 2 different kinds of flowers. You can make them out of felt, and you can do this out of any material that you have, like fleece, as long as it has some body to it. Just, you know, draw a circle, cut out a circle, and you can definitely make these and make a whole bouquet of rickrack flowers. So I hope you enjoyed today's very quick little tutorial on decorating your witch hat, and that you enjoyed learning how to make your felt flowers as well as rickrack flowers. I love doing things like this. And if you're curious about, you know, different ways that you can use rickrack to embellish and to make jewelry and different things, I do recommend this book. A friend gave this to me, and I just love it. It is, I think, Making Vintage Accessories. It is by Emma Brennan. There we go. If I can find a link to it, I will put a link in the description below. So thank you guys again for tuning in to my channel. Please be sure to like and subscribe, because every week I will do quick, simple little tutorials. Next week, I promise, next week we will get back to doing the patchwork cardigan, and we will do pockets. I'm still trying to decide though whether I want patch pockets on the front or inset on the seam, because I like both. So we'll see. So everyone have a great day, and I'll see you next week.